The controversial NCEA qualification system has been going for 4 years now, but for most people it's still confusing.
It's hard to explain.
I kind of understand it, but I still, even then, there are little bits and I just go, what is this?
Critics claim that NCEA is too easy, nobody ever fails, and educational standards are declining. So we set up a unique experiment in which parents will sit NCEA alongside their children to test just how hard it really is.
It's a good chance for me to see what's happening with the English, how is it being taught, and see if I can find out for myself why the standard has dropped.
They always say, oh, school was so much harder and we had to do so much more hard work and stuff, and I'd like to prove that. I'd like to see if it really was and if they can do this, and if it's really as easy as they think it is.
For our experiment, we found 4 families with children studying Level 1 NCEA, the equivalent of the old school certificate. We asked a parent to study 2 subjects alongside their child. This will help us to understand NCEA and if it's as easy as the critics think. Meet our families. In South Auckland, we have the Lewises from Papatoetoe.
I'm really worried about how I'm going to balance everything. Just trying to balance work and responsibilities at work, and the kids and home. It's just going to be, I don't know how I'm going to fit everything in.
It'll be a way to prove to my parents that I'm able to succeed better than, and maybe, to prove to my parents that I am smarter than they think I am.
Over in Lindfield, Jeffrey Renton also wants to do better than his mum.
I've never failed anything in my life, and that probably sounds cocky, but I haven't.
I was not an excellent achiever. I was never getting 90% and things like that. It was always above average. It was not, and it was hard work to get that.
The Clarksons from Glendowie have always stood apart from the system.
I'm not one of those people that holds on to the old stuff. No, I like moving forward. I like leading edge thinking. I'm prepared to, at this point, trust the people that put it together, that this is an advanced thing.
I've been homeschooled all my life. I've never been to Montessori or anything. My sister went to Montessori when she was little. And yeah, basically I think it was my parents' choice because, of their open-minded views and stuff, but also that we were travelling around a lot because my dad's a musician.
And on Auckland's North Shore, we have the wilds of Tor Bay.
I have got a bee in my bonnet about English, there's no doubt about that. I think the standard of English generally has declined quite dramatically over the last 10 or 15 years.
We're learning the same kind of thing. I think the only thing that would have made it harder back then is tougher marking schedules, you either pass or you fail, whereas now it's you kind of fail but we'll let you have another go and then you can pass.
The wilds gave us a wild card. Charlotte's English granny is also sitting NCEA and is keen to test the standards here.
The grammar is not as good, the punctuation is almost non-existent, and a lot of children don't seem to be able to compose a letter, and not only children, adults too.
So how does NCEA work? It's an incredibly complex system involving 3 levels. Our families are all attempting Level 1, which is the equivalent of the old school C. To pass Level 1 requires at least 80 credits, which must include 8 in each of English and Maths. Paula Renton owns and runs an aluminium joinery business in West Auckland. With NCEA now 4 years old, Paula's starting to get CVs from prospective employees who've been through the new system that she doesn't yet understand. Just how much will doing NCEA, running the business and looking after her family, put the pressure on Paula?
I'll enjoy a challenge, and it certainly will be a challenge. Could be fun, and I suppose really it's going to help me understand NCEA better in terms of me being an employer.
Our parents are doing their studies through the correspondence school. Because they all have busy lives, we've asked that they do 2 subjects, English and one other, over the last 2 terms of the school year.
It's going to be busy doing this, I suppose.
Most of the parents have opted to do something that their child is also doing.
Oh dear. Chosen to do human biology, basically because I know I eat and drink far too much, and health-wise I might learn something to kick me into gear to do something about it. Right, so it's speech time. And it's something that Jeffrey wanted me to do as well because it would help him, hopefully.
Our world today is greatly influenced...
Jeffrey's the first of Paula and Gary's 2 children to do NCEA.
It'll be interesting to revise with my mum and, because mum will be asking me things and I'll have to tell her, and for once, I'll be the teacher and she'll be learning from me rather than me learning from her. Because our identity lies in the image that is associated with it. If she failed, I wouldn't, hold it against her or be embarrassed about it because, at the end of the day, I'd rather her cook for me and be there for me rather than get a good mark.
I'm sure they'll be totally...
The marking of NCEA is complicated. Credits are graded as excellence, merit or achieved. There is no such thing as failure. It's called not achieved. Although excellence is the approximate equivalent to scoring above 90% in the old school C days, no extra credit points are awarded. In fact, the same points are given for excellence or merit as for someone who only scrapes by with an achieved.
See you later.
Charlotte's our only student attending a private school. She buses from Tor Bay over to Kriston in Albany. So has plenty of time for listening to music. U2 is a big priority in her life.
I'm going to see U2. They're like my favourite band ever in the world. They're playing a concert here on the 25th of November, right in the middle of exam week. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to get into a studying frame of mind.
With Charlotte off to school, Malcolm's being Mr. Pedantic. He's hardly opened his first packages from the correspondence school before he starts searching for spelling and grammatical errors.
Resave your work, 4 points, 2 4 points. This is the information management course. I don't think there's anything in here that's going to cause too much grief. I would have thought by the time you get to 15 years old, there's another mistake there, that you would know this stuff anyway because computers are such a part of everyday life. I'm doing information management because I'm a bit of a geek. I do like computers. And this is a subject that wasn't taught when I was at school. So I'd be interested to try it out, see if I'm any good at it.
Like all the other parents, Malcolm is also doing English. Finding mistakes in his coursework gets his back up because he runs a home-based business as a book publisher. Proofreading for mistakes is part of his life.
Charlotte whinges at me all the time. If I see something that's printed and it's wrong, I'll always point it out because I think it's not too difficult to be able to spell properly and to be able to speak properly. This seems to be the English literature side of English. I haven't actually seen anything that's related to grammar or spelling yet. It could be that students are expected, by the time they start this course, to have a good understanding of written English, how to write, how to spell. There's another mistake in here as well.
Jean is Malcolm's mother-in-law and Charlotte's granny. Having had a long break from education, she's striking a blow for grey power.
I'd had a stroke about 5 years ago, and I've recovered from this reasonably well, but I thought that it might help to show that because you're old and not as physically well, you've still got something up the top in the brain area.
My whole family is good at English. We've got books all around the house, and I say that we'd all do quite well in English. And IT for my dad, I think he'll be very good at that because he works with computers and it's kind of nerdy.
I'm interested to see if I'm as clever as I think I am. I think my English is pretty good, and I'd be interested to see how well I do in English.
I would like to try and beat them, actually. Yeah, I'd be pretty embarrassed since I'm going to school and that, and they're not, if I failed and they passed. I'd be embarrassed at that.
With just 3 months to go, all our kids are keen to outsmart their parents.
I think I will get higher grades.
I think I'm smarter.
The third family taking part in our NCEA experiment is the Clarksons. Eden attends Selwyn College. Up until now, she's been homeschooled, so this is her first year at school.
At the beginning, I had to go to each class, and I basically went up to the teacher and said, "This is my first day ever, what the hell do I do?" And I think they liked that. I sort of started relationships with my teacher just because I did that instead of just going and sitting in class.
The relationship between...
Academically, though, I'm very proud of myself. Like, even if it's just little things, sometimes, like, just getting an achieved in a random maths test that isn't even for credits. People wouldn't normally think that a great thing, but for me, I might have worked my ass off for it, and I think I've accomplished a lot, definitely, this year. Maths has probably been one of the biggest challenges. Maths, and sometimes even science, can be a bit, because they constantly go, you should have learnt this last year, and it was just like, well, I didn't. I'm having to kind of pick up, but I think I've been good at that so far.
Okay, here we go. We're going to open up this envelope. Maths is not her strong point. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do maths, because I wanted to help her with it. And I'm sure she'll be able to help me with my English. So there's a compatibility here with us doing this program. What we have here is an English book, creative writing, and it's got tapes. I'm basically a homemaker at the moment. I look after my 4 children. Creative writing, that sounds fun. It just looks like hardware. It just looks like I'm going to be busy for 2 or 3 hours a day.
Our 4th student is Harley Lewis. He lives with his 2 younger brothers, his dad Mark and mum Steph, who's doing NCEA with him.
Once I leave school, I want to join the police force. Through that, I want to study law at university, and then I'll become a lawyer, and then once that, I might become a Crown prosecutor. I do ninjutsu, which is a non-competitive martial art. I eat. I like school sometimes, when the teachers aren't hassling me. I drive. It's basically my life.
I'm doing English and science. I am quite daunted as to the science.
Science is a big part of Steph's life. She works as a theatre charge nurse at the Manukau Super Clinic.
My work currently is anatomy and physiology based, and now I actually have to go all the way back to the basics like plants and astronomy and things like that, which I just wouldn't have a clue other than helping the little ones do their schoolwork.
We wondered if Steph's playing it down a little. She's also an examiner for trainee anaesthetic technicians. But with NCEA, it'll be her sitting the exams.
This will give me some sort of understanding, I suppose, as to what they go through.
As to how she'll go.
So long as I pass, I'll be happy with that. At least I can demonstrate to Harley that although I haven't done formal schooling for 20 years, that I have still got that sort of knowledge.
I think she'll do quite well in the biology. With the physics, I don't think she'll do too good. And with the chemistry, I think she may do all right, but she's told me that she didn't do too well at that in school, so fingers crossed she fails.
Harley and I are quite competitive, so it's going to be really interesting. I mean, with a bit of luck, this will help motivate him as well to do a bit better and stop slacking off. Hydrogen, helium, lithium.
Desperate to beat his mum, Harley refuses to offer her any help. So Steph's enlisted Harley's girlfriend, Shani, as her study partner.
Aluminium. I sort of had a bit of a meltdown wondering how I was going to get everything done. There was so much that I had to do and I didn't know how I was going to fit it all in. What is it? But the first book I sent back was an English book, so that was sort of like a major milestone. Last Sunday, I think I sent it through. Did you understand?
With his girlfriend spending her time studying with his mum, Harley finds another distraction, PlayStation.
When I should be studying, I think, I can't be bothered. I'll just have a little play to just take my mind off it, and then it sort of turns into a couple of hours. It's like, I can study later, and I'll just keep playing for a bit. It's like, it's 10 o'clock. I can fit in a bit more. And then either mum or dad will tell me to turn it off, and then I'll just turn the volume down. Comes to 2 o'clock, and it's like, I should go to bed now. And then I end up with no study done. This week we have practice exams. I like to think that I've studied, but I haven't really. So I'm going to start trying to study a lot more. I'm going to start cramming in little bits and pieces in between classes and at home and stuff, just to try and prepare myself a bit more, because I don't want to fail.
Jeffrey won't let himself fail. In fact, he's so obsessed about getting good grades that he only sits with students he thinks won't be a distraction.
When I'm with girls, I do, produce more work, and, like Karen's really smart, so I can feed off her. And so, I just think I get a lot more work done, and guys generally, muck around and, yeah.
With a business to run, Paula can only do her schoolwork in the evenings and on weekends. She's now onto her second batch of English booklets.
I'm doing okay. It's just a bit of a juggling act trying to fit it in with everything, really.
In a week I've managed to do 2 books. Whether I've done them right or whether I've done them well is a different story, but I have done them. So I'm ready to post them off tomorrow. When you're working in an adult, you have to get back in the learning mode, which is taking a bit of an adjustment. I've done the introduction to human biology, but I haven't done the musculoskeletal unit standard, which Jeffrey wants me to leave that to when he starts doing it at school so we can sort of do it together.
I asked her to hold off because for me it'd be good to do a topic with her and so we can learn off each other because I like learning that way, and that way what I learn in class can be reinforced at home so I can remember it better, and you know what I learn in class that she doesn't learn I can help her with.
Hello!
It's early September and Jeffrey's school, Linfield College, is one of the first to run their preliminary exams.
Today I have my human bio exam and that starts in 10 minutes. It is on enzymes and it's worth 4 credits, so the pressure's on.
Credits can be attained by the school's own internal examinations and assessments over the 4 terms, as well as by external examinations at the end of the year.
I enjoy exams and learning and things like that, but I just don't like the uncertainty of practicals because you don't know if it'll go right. It's all like, you know, within a certain time frame, so you have to get it done.
Harley's also got a preliminary science exam. He wasn't quite so well prepared.
I was struggling a bit, found myself falling asleep. I'm sleep deprived and I'm hungry and my mind wasn't really working properly.
His mum's received her first marked coursework.
My English was really good. I got an A++ on my first session, which was really nice. Harley wasn't too impressed with that and said I wasn't till we went to expect him to get that sort of marks. It is still war between the two of us, and he's just no help at all. I mean, he was going to give me a hand the other day as far as chemistry, but I think a lot of it's just taunting me, sort of going, but it's so easy. You just go this, and this, and you go, oh.
Eden's staying late after school to complete her art portfolio, which needs to be sent off and externally graded. It's worth 12 credits.
Well, I have my big assessment, our big 12 credit one due next Thursday, and I just realised that I've got roughly 5 paintings left until I finish the whole thing. So I had the option to come in today. They normally keep it open for a couple of hours after school. Thought I'd better get started in some way.
Back home, Eden's dad is pleased with the feedback on his second lot of internal coursework.
My enthusiasm must have shone through my work because I was marked as merit excellence for English. I must admit, I had a shiver go up my backbone. It's kind of like, wow, that was really good. Maths is not so easy at the moment. It's a little harder than I thought, actually. 4 divided by A2. I thought it was going to be a bit of a breeze. I thought, well, I've had 40 years life experience, since I left school. This is really difficult for my brain. I thought maybe, some of these things that the kids are doing today will be a bit of a breeze. I'll be able to go. But, when you consider algebra and I'm going, I'm going to have to start again. There's some of these basics I actually don't remember. It's hard work. Yeah. Got it. Yay.
It's the end of the 3rd term. Charlotte and her friends start the school holidays with a sing-star party, while Dad, Malcolm, works in his office downstairs. He's yet to send off any schoolwork.
I'm struggling with the English. There's a section in the English book I'm doing at the moment called oral text. So what I have was a sound effect. It was a steam train coming from the distance, straight past, and then disappearing into the distance. And it turns out that that is classed as oral text. Now, how it can be oral text just beats me. I've got no idea. How is it English? So I find that those things are starting to irritate me a little bit about the English, and probably is one of the reasons why I'm not giving it my full attention.
He's always complaining about how this isn't really English, like the analysing of the visual text and that. He's like, this isn't English, this isn't English. English is writing, English is grammar, this isn't English. So I think he's just annoyed at that and he won't do it.
I feel a bit of a hypocrite these days because I'm saying to Charlotte, it's so important to get your homework done immediately, get it out of the way, and then you don't have to worry about it, when I know that I was never like that myself. And I'm finding now with my schoolwork that I'm exactly the same. I'm the world's worst prevaricator and will do just about anything to get away from what I'm actually supposed to be doing.
No, it's
Just
got everything, but it's just in a...
rearrange it.
Yeah.
The September school holidays are nearly over.
Just finding the time's really hard with the business and everything else.
Like all our parents, Paula didn't get a break and she's struggling with her studies.
I've started an essay about Barry Crump, and I said, well, have a look at this and tell me what you think. Well, it was only my first draft. And they said, oh, this is no good, Mum, you can't do an introduction like this. And I said, oh, God, I'm going. And it's like, so I've got all my notes, I've got to get them all out again and just go back and make sure I get it right.
That's my wall of English quotes and books and all the texts that I have to write about at the end of the year and things to remember. And I put it up there and hope that I would see it every day and, read something, bit by bit and constantly remind me that I need to do revision.
Jeffrey spent nearly all his holidays studying, and he's heard that he got his 4 credits from the prelim exam.
I got an excellence in that, so I'm very pleased with that. I only got 1 question wrong in the whole thing, and that was just because I forgot a title, so I'm pretty pleased. In English, I didn't do so good, sort of merits and achieves and 1 not achieved. It showed the massive gap I have in my knowledge of what I need to know for English, and so it really showed me what I needed to learn.
Simon says put your hand on your wrist.
Paula's taken to kids' games to help her with her studies.
Simon says put your hand on your maxilla.
It's just a bit of trivial fun, but hey, it sort of does work when you remember where the parts are of your body,
Harley also got his results back from the prelim exams over the holidays.
I went all right. I mean, I passed them all, and passes are always good. But I didn't really get the results that I really was trying for. Like, I didn't get the merits and the excellences. I got the achieves and stuff. I got a few merits, but it's not what I really expected of myself. I didn't do really good in my science, and my science teacher told me she was going to kick me out the butt.
While Harley's had 2 weeks off, his mum Steph's had to keep working. The volume of NCEA schoolwork is a surprise.
I didn't anticipate the workload. That was the one thing. I actually thought it was going to be a lot easier. They do actually work doing NCEA. That's one thing that I have learned. It's actually quite comprehensive, some of the stuff that they are doing. It's probably just as much as what we did in our schooling as well.
Mum's not doing too good. She was studying and she just basically dropped everything. She was like, I'm going to fail, I can't do this. And I just started laughing at her. I was like, you're going to fail. And she was like, oh, it's too hard. Harley, why don't you help me? And I was like, no, this is your stuff, not mine. This is easy. She was like, oh, help me. I was like, no.
I'm going to feel a real fool if I don't pass it. I mean, either way. And I know I'm sort of doing this juggling stuff. But for me, if I don't give it 100%, there was no point me doing it in the first place sort of thing. So I think Harley would love it if I failed. He'd just be over the moon, so give him bragging rights for a while.
Although Steph's stressing about NCEA, Jeff is enthusiastic.
I think it's much better now. I think it's far advanced. I think it's more interesting. And I'm talking about the 60s when I was at high school. The way that these subjects were being taught was very dogmatic by the teacher. It was like, you do it this way and that's how you do it. That's how we educate you. And, they was much more strict and there was only one way of doing things, whereas today they're entertaining, they're interested in how the children go about their thinking a lot more. It's not perfect, but it's certainly on the way.
I made this holiday plan basically, so I knew what I had to do and it was right there in front of me on my wall, and I split it up into different categories for each subject I had and sort of made an attempt to do most of it. But it's been helpful at least, because at least I've been able to go, okay, what do I still need to do? And I've been very aware of the work that I am not getting done.
Charlotte's granny, Jean, has been working hard too, but she's finding some of the new ways of learning a little trying.
Some of the methods they ask you to use were new to me, and I don't get on terribly well, because they have this thing they call brainstorming, and you draw these mind maps with the subject in the centre and all little arrows going off, marking different aspects of it. And we didn't do that at school. We just made notes and got on with it.
Malcolm's making little progress with his studies.
Well, Charlotte and I made an agreement at the beginning of the holidays that we would allot a certain amount of time to do our schoolwork every day. And she's followed it. and I haven't.
I said that I was going to try and study each day about 3 o'clock, and he said, okay, I'll do my studying then too, and he hasn't done any. None.
The only thing I have done is reread my set book for the English, The Life and Times of a Good Keen Man by Barry Crump, 2 or 3 times now. I need to read it that many times to be able to remember it because I've got such a shocking memory. It's also quite enjoyable.
I think it's probably quite competitive, eh? Like, I want to beat him. He wants to beat me. He says that he doesn't, but he does. I think it's pretty competitive. It's less so between me and my grandma, but between me and Dad, then yeah. Yesterday I tried to do French and I tried to do history and I failed miserably on both accounts because it was hard. I've been doing lots of science and lots of maths, because maths is the one I'm worried about.
It's the first day of the 4th term, and Charlotte has her prelims. It's now only 6 weeks until the NCEA exams, where she will attempt to get her external credits.
There you go.
All right. It's long, lots of work. Right now I'm going to go home, have something to eat, have a cup of tea and get on the internet.
Harley's so determined to beat his mum that he's taken on extra after-school science classes. This has prompted Steph to set up a challenge.
Harley's in this I'm growing my hair long stage and it is so scruffy, it drives us to distraction. So I sort of thought I might actually institute a challenge to him, and if I beat him for NCEA, he has to get his hair cut. So we'll see what his sort of comeback to that's going to be.
I'm not getting a haircut, and Mum wants me to, but yeah, it's not going to happen.
On top of everything else, Steph's had Harley's 16th birthday party to organise. Cracks are starting to show.
Yeah, I don't think she's taking the science bit really well. She's kind of finding that quite hard. She's like, oh, bloody don't get this right, and blah, blah, blah.
I did throw a tanty the other day with the energy assignment or the electricity one, and I threw it at him. He was on the phone to Shania and I went out and I went, God, I hate this, I don't understand it.
She came in screaming about how she didn't get science and threw the look at me, and I got such a fright that I ended up hanging up on her.
But yeah, I mean, he was really good. He sort of helped talk me through the little bit that I was having trouble with. Hip hip! Hooray! You get $20 if you blow them out. This last week's been mad. Wednesday the kids have had teacher strike. Thursday Caleb was sick again. And then Friday Markuta's back. And then today we've got Harley's birthday party, and it's just been madness since 6:30 this morning. I have done 3 or 4 pages of an energy assignment, I think, this week, and that's been about it, so I'm really behind in English. 6 essays still to write.
Please put your hands together for Eden Clarkson.
Another subject Eden's doing for NCEA is music. Part of the assessment involves a live performance, for which credits are awarded.
Well, these are the achievement certificates that you get.
Internally assessed credits are awarded throughout the year.
And this is worth 3 credits at level 1. So I've got 14 credits in maths, which is quite a lot. And these are, in a normal school, these would be what they'd call assessed internally. So you get them as you go through the year. Now, if you get enough, you don't actually have to sit the exams.
That means Jeff has passed NCEA Level 1 Maths. But Eden's a little concerned whether she'll get the minimum 80 credits she needs to carry on to Level 2 in her 6th form year.
I've got about 60 credits, I think, just from my internal subject. So it's more the specific things, like I need 8 credits so that I don't have to do maths again next year, and that I have what I need for a UE if I do that. I think that takes a little bit of the stress off it, but then I still want to do well anyway. You know, even though I only need 2 more credits in maths, I want to do well in a lot more of the papers, and I want to get good grades in English because I'm doing a lot of English-based subjects next year.
Steph's had to work some extra shifts. Harley's now got enough internal credits to pass Level 1 NCEA. And because he's no longer dependent on his exam result, he's struggling to find momentum to study.
I had passed Level 1 because I got some results back, and I had passed an assignment which I didn't think I had passed. And the reason I'm still doing my exams is because if I want to do my subjects next year,
I have to meet certain criteria, like for science. If I want to do chemistry, I have to pass the chemistry paper. If I want to do maths, I need to pass 5 of the achievement standards. So basically that's the main reason why I'm still going to sit the exams.
Yesterday we were supposed to be studying, and he was just spent all day with his girlfriend yesterday, and they did nothing but watch TV and play this PlayStation all day.
I did do a bit.
Where? What did you do?
Did it from the bed.
That's all he did all day. All day.
And there.
Oh, look. That's all he...
Hey.
What's that?
Page and a little bit more.
So what's that? 1 page every 2 hours. What?
It tries to be everything.
Yeah.
And I think in trying to be everything, it's failing in the basic ideas.
Unlike Harley, Malcolm hasn't done any schoolwork and has no internal credits. So now he's entirely dependent on his looming exam performance to avoid failing.
When we were at school, you either passed a subject or you didn't pass it, so you failed it. I haven't sent anything in, and so I haven't got any results at all. The only shot I've got at it is the external exam, so I'm just going to have to really try and get myself prepared for that when it happens in not very many weeks' time. I haven't read any of them. What are you reading?
What am I reading? I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Is that one of the books?
That's what they're doing in English.
Yes.
Is that what you're
Have
reading?
you read it?
No.
Have you read it?
It's very good.
Yeah, I've read it, yeah, I believe you.
So I'm the only one who hasn't read it?
Probably.
I haven't.
I think Charlotte's enjoying the fact that I'm a little bit stressed about it, actually. She does say to me every now and again, shouldn't you be doing your homework? So I should have read The Grapes of Wrath then already, and I haven't read that either.
Oh, Mark.
She's reveling in it, really. This is what it's like for me. That's what she's thinking. No, I started to read that U2... What was it? Yeah, boring.
It's not boring.
It is, it's boring.
It's not boring.
U2, Charlotte's favourite band, are finally playing in November, right in the middle of her NCEA exams.
My hardest exam is maths, and maths is on Friday the 24th, which is the day before, and I don't know whether it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, because I'll be really distracted, and in maths I need to have my full concentration because I make really stupid mistakes in maths. So that's Edge's ass.
U2 is the biggest focus in Charlotte's life. There isn't anything else, really. So, yeah, she's not really concentrating on much else.
I mean, exams I'm not interested in. I don't spend time on, the NCEA website, but I spend time on the ACT website. And it's yeah, exams I'm only focusing on because I have to pass them because they're important.
With all the excitement over the U2 concert, Charlotte hasn't even found the time to calculate how many credits she has.
I've passed all my internals, but I don't know how many credits they're all worth. I actually don't know. I don't really keep up with it.
With a business to run and her family to organise, Paula's studies have suffered. She's failed to send off enough coursework to get any internal credits.
I've actually got no credits so far for human bio. I have done all the booklets and all the work that I've been sent. And then I looked at a couple of the old exam papers on the internet and everything and looked at it and I thought there is no way that I'm going to be able to do any of this in the exam with the English as well that I've got to do. So I sort of figured I probably won't end up going to the exam because it's just not going to be possible. Yeah, so basically human bio's gone by the board. Hello.
Being part of this experiment and coping with exam stress is a bit much for Jeffrey as well.
Everyone's tired and grumpy. You want to film him? I don't know if he wants you to film him. No, it's... How'd you get on?
I'm not in the mood.
No, he's obviously not happy chappy, so might pick it even. Let him have his space.
Exam day has arrived, and finally our families are put to the test.
You state the thing you're going to talk about, explain it, and then give an example.
Now we can all find out whether educational standards have declined since the school C days, and who is smarter, parents or kids.
Right.
I've never felt as unprepared for anything as I have been for these exams. I'd much rather be doing anything else. But I would never back out because Charlotte would never forgive me. but I have to say that I'm sure that Charlotte will do a lot better than I will. I read some of Charlotte's practice exams yesterday, her practice essays, and they were really good. Bye-bye then.
Yeah.
See you later.
Good luck.
All right? All right,
Don't fail.
No, I won't fail.
I want to do well in this one because I want to beat my dad and I want to embarrass myself, you know.
Well, here's Malcolm. I'm as prepared as I can be. You know, I sort of feel that I've done what I hope will be enough. I've enjoyed doing it. I'm ready.
Happy?
Yes?
Good stuff. You ready?
Yes.
Have you got your entry form?
Yes.
Let's go.
OK, let's go.
It's got the squash, isn't it? All aboard, you got everything, Eden? Do you want to put that in my bag for now?
No, carry it.
Just put it in my bag, it'll be easier.
So much for you.
No,
What I need for my exam.
everyone will look at you, Mum.
I don't care if people look at me. It doesn't worry me. Embarrassing, carrying a plastic bag to an exam.
Where'd that come from? I thought you put it in your bag, in my bag.
Steph's stress was added to by Harley holding her up and making them late.
When I walked in, I almost burst into tears. So it just all sort of suddenly hit me, and I just had this horrible moment because we were running late to get here, and I was really stressed.
Three hours later,
How'd you do? How'd you do? I didn't finish that. That sucked.
How did yours go?
Oh, not bad. I got 3 of the 5 papers done.
Which algebra, graphs, and
a number.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to lunch to celebrate it's all over. So poor Shans has still got one more exam on Friday, but Harley and I have both finished. So yeah, just go and have something nice to eat. So maybe even a glass of wine. You did well?
Yep.
Good?
Yep.
Good boy.
and right in the middle of her exams, Charlotte finally got to go to the U2 concert.
Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing?
And you winked at me. It was really cool.
He did what?
He winked at me.
Did he?
Shut up. It was really cool.
It's mid-January and everyone's been sweating it out waiting for their NCEA results to arrive in the mail.
Ah, thank you very much. What have we got here?
Go.
Okay, here I go. So let's read it.
The deciphering of results can be a challenge in itself. Because NCEA doesn't give percentages the way the old School C system did, it's not possible to immediately interpret the results.
Oh, that
E's are excellence. You got
Yeah.
excellence. Those are internals.
What's A's there? Anyway, according to this, I got in maths, I got 31, and in English, I got 12.
You only not achieved one thing. What was that? Unfamiliar text.
I got 2 credits in physics, and I didn't sit physics, so we'll have to check into that one.
Just take them.
Oh, well, right, your turn, Eden. Let me see yours.
Jeff didn't do a full-time course, but still managed to gain 45 credits.
I haven't.
Although she can see what she's passed and how well, it takes Eden more than 2 minutes to realise that she has achieved the minimum requirements.
Holy crap! I actually passed almost all of
did.
them. Shit.
Well done.
Yours is really weird. Oh, you've got all your internals here. Where does it
12.
tell us all the credits we got?
Well, you have to
Yeah.
add them up, so you
Can't
add
they
up
just
this.
add them up for us?
Well, the NZQA doesn't do that, and they won't put results into percentages either. That's the old system. But we needed to find a measurable way to compare our kids with their parents that would be comprehensible to most people. This is information an employer or educational institution might want to know. We've tabled up the results. Jeff got 45 credits out of a potential 48, giving him 94% of what was available from his half year's work. But remember, that's not a mark. Eden got 94 of the potential 104, giving her 90%.
I kind of think, oh, I could have done a little bit more and gotten a few more credits here and there. But ultimately, I have everything I need for this year, and I'm, completely set up. I don't feel like I'm stressing for anything.
As for the Rentons,
I got 1 not achieved. I got a merit.
Oh, well done.
Actually, my merit was for my Barry Crump novel, and all the rest are achieved, which is not bad considering the amount of time I put into it. So,
passed.
Yeah, it's a pass. Old school terms, it's a pass.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey.
so in summary of how the Rentons went, Paula got 13 credits out of a potential 21, giving her 62%. Her grade is brought down by the fact that she didn't sit her human biology exam. Jeffrey got every available credit, giving him 100%. Again, these percentages are not marks.
Well done. Good boy. Excellent. Proud of you. Well done.
I got a achieved in the unfamiliar text, which was really good.
The Lewises are on holiday up north.
I failed that
He
one.
failed that one. It might be coming off, mate.
No, it's not.
Harley got 146 credits out of 152, giving him 96%. Because Steph got 3 not achieveds, her percentage comes out at 78.
But it looks like his hair stays, so, but never mind. I actually am used to it and I didn't really want it to go.
Oh, look at all those E's.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh my goodness, I didn't fail French.
Over at the Wilds, Charlotte's done very well.
I don't know, I'm not turning the page yet, hang on.
And so has Granny Jean.
There you go. See? Excellent.
I told you.
Excellent.
Oh my god, you got an excellence in history.
I can't believe that
Why?
I got
What is that
an
in?
excellence for
Extended
that
written
restudy.
text?
Yes, the
Is that the
novel.
Killer Mockingbird?
Well,
Yes,
cool.
it
Why
was.
wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you get an
Well,
excellent?
because the absolute, what I actually wrote, I mean, it was absolute crap.
Because Malcolm and Jean both passed all the papers they attempted, they each scored 100%. Charlotte got 113 credits out of a potential 115, giving her 98%. And she even got a merit for one of her maths papers. Overall, these results are sounding pretty good. But interpretation is everything. When we ranked them, Jeff was a bit miffed that he only came 6th but scored 94%. So he came up with another suggestion, which gives greater value to scoring merit or excellence.
Whether you get achieved, merit or excellence doesn't really matter to the credits, but if you had 1 more credit for each of those, it would be quite good. So achieved might be 2 credits, merit might be 3, and excellence might be 4. Now that's something perhaps might be thought through.
Now we're presented with a very different view that takes Jeff from 6th to 2nd, and Malcolm from top to 6th equal with Jeff's daughter, Eden. Overall, the parents scored 61% and the kids 74%. It appears that either the kids are a lot smarter than their parents, or NCEA is harder than everyone thinks.
I think it's just as difficult, just as difficult, but probably the same level as what School C was.
Which was the general consensus of our other parents. We now turn the tables and ask them to assess NCEA. Did they find it too easy? Have standards fallen? Paula, the employer, generously gave it a merit.
It's really been beneficial for me as an employer to get a better overview understanding of it. I still don't know everything about NCEA. There's so much to it, but I do have a clearer picture, I think, of what's involved.
Steph, our working mother, who's always hated exams, reluctantly gave it an achieved.
I think it's a good thing. Yeah, I do. I like the way they do the internals and the externals. I think I can remember sitting in the science exam and all I wanted to do was cry.
Mr. Pedantic, Malcolm, appeared to prove the theory that it's hard to fail NCEA. He was also clearly relieved that he didn't embarrass himself, and so he gave it an achieved.
I'm very glad it's all over with, and although I did have the odd reservation, I enjoyed it as I was doing it. It's been a different experience, that's for sure.
Always open to new ideas, Jeff the hippie gave it an achieved, but he did add that there was room for improvement and it could do better.
NCEA is a system in progress, and I think you've got to look at it that way. It's being updated all the time. You know, when things don't work in it, okay, don't get too upset and say, oh, we better go back to the other way. Let's work on where it's not working and bring it up to date.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.